Fellow mountain bike shredders, today I got an amazing video for you. We're diving deep into the world of ARI Bikes. Now, ever since Fezzarri rebranded themselves to become ARI, A-R-I, the brand has just been skyrocketing. Everybody's talking about these bikes. So when I heard that they're gonna be holding a bike demo just down the road from my house at a place called Everstoke, where I was actually gonna be able to take these bikes out for a ride, I knew I had to go check them out and take you guys along to see what these bikes were all about. I arrived super early before anybody else showed up and ended up getting an exclusive behind the scenes look at the newest ARI bike lineup. It gets even better because the brand manager there walked me through ARI's custom 23-point setup that tailors a bike to fit you perfectly. They use that 23-point setup. They set up one of their new lightweight e-bikes for me, sent me out on the trails to take this thing on a demo ride, and wait till you see how good this bike not only looked, but performed on the trail. Spoiler alert, this bike was amazing. Plus, have you ever wondered how bike companies name their bikes? The answer might surprise you. Stick around to the end because you're not gonna wanna miss a single minute of this deep dive into ARI Bikes. Let's roll. We got the ARI bike demo out here today at Everstoke, so we're gonna check this out. I'm super excited about these bikes. They're pretty much everywhere. So unless you've been hiding underneath a rock, you've seen like all their major media outlets, you know, tons of big YouTubers, even like Robert himself from the Biker Bar podcast. You got Kyle Straight, you know, Rampage rider, repping these bikes. You can see right here like the older Fezzari bikes, and I got Ian right here from ARI, so I'm gonna have him walk you through real quick kind of like the bikes they got out here. We'll talk a little bit about the Fezzari bikes because there could be a good opportunity if you're interested in those, but I'm a little bit more interested in checking out the new ARI lineup over here. So Ian, if you could walk us through like what all do we got here in the bike lineup? I see some e-bikes, yeah, and then I see some regular bikes, and I see a bunch of freaking top spec components on them.
Really fun stuff. It's been a fun year to be able to push new product and really cutting edge technology. So you're getting to see fun demos rocking Maven brakes, Exo transmission drivetrains, something that I think both of which really complement e-bike use applications, these kind of heavier use applications where a bit more sturdy drivetrain and brakes really complements the ride experience. Looking at, some of my legacy product. We're still turning over the demo fleet into the new stuff, but this is kind of my lineup of my analog trail bikes, starting with the Delano Peak here. Well-rounded trail bike, 135, 150, great platform for what most people do. This is going to be my LaSalle Peak, the 170 Enduro rig for the rider that's focused a little more on descent but still appreciates a strong pedaling. And then stepping to the Signal Peak here, this is going to be our more pedaling focused platform with the XC Realm. So a 115, 120 trail build kind of complements a nice stable pedaling platform while still maintaining some of that trail confidence and capability. Over here onto some of the fun new stuff, we've got the Wire Peak. This is our alloy offering, a bit of a price conscious entry into the e-bike market, where I've got some builds that change through different motors and build specs to hit, you know, a mid 3000 build, a mid 4, and a mid 5. So you can get into e-bikes without the kind of pretty high entry that some of the others might have. And, you know, you're still getting a platform that's very capable and will kind of grow with your skill set as you might be getting into e-biking, or just want something that's solid and ready for just about what any rider can throw at it.
Nice. And on those, I see it's got like kind of the Shimano and, wait, are those TRP brakes?
Yes,
yeah.
These are the Slate Evos.
Oh,
so
I love those brakes.
Utilizing the strong caliper and a little bit lower volume than lever than the DHR Evo, but gets a lot of that same power. I think with the big rotors, nice thick setup. Makes for a really confident braking.
Yeah, I've had those brakes before, and one thing I've realized good, I'm not sure if like TRP is owned by Shimano, but it's almost like they have the same thing going for them. It's like you can get the low spec TRPs and they perform so dang good, you know what I mean? Like the low spec Shimano, and it just performs so good to where it almost begs to argue, like, do I need to buy the higher level stuff? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, kind of, maybe, I don't know.
Yes. What you're seeing there is, so TRP stands for Tektro Racing Products, right?
Yeah.
Tektro is one of the biggest brake producers on, you know, that's the end of the brand that focuses more on entry level spec and volume and OEM spec.
Okay.
So they get the volume to make things really affordable, as well as they really do sort out good issues and make a really strong product even at that low end. And you kind of see that repetition that comes from the volume trickles into the, you know, higher end racing end of the branding, and so you end up getting something that, yeah, you have offerings at both ends of the spectrum, and all of which perform really solidly.
Nice.
Yeah. On to our kind of newest flagship and really fun model. SL e-bikes have been kind of the rage this season, and looking into this now, this is our Nebo Peak, the SL e-bike with a...
Oh, I got tricked for a minute. I thought these weren't e-bikes, but you're right. Now looking a little bit closer, it's just a light e-bike.
That Fezarri motor system keeps things really svelte with a 430 watt-hour battery. This is the Ride 60 system, so 60 newton meters of torque output, and really just kind of keeps a lot of that bike-like feel, that trail bike playfulness, while still having that bit of a lift that you get from an e-bike system. So, you know, while I love the tint for getting me to my tough shuttling destinations and really rough riding, the Nebo complements things with a bit more of that trail bike feel. So when I'm on bicycle trails with small jibby features and that, and I don't really sacrifice the playfulness that I want from my trail bike. So it's kind of fun to see where that SL market is really kind of starting to cement in and become, you know, a larger part of the kind of mountain bike game right now.
I love this colorway back here too. I mean, I like the orange. The orange is awesome. A lot of people are gonna like that, but I just love that. Yeah, the bronze with the white, the gray, just like, and then just like even these Maven brakes, how good those look with it, with the lyric, with like kind of the silver. I don't know. I just love a bike like that. That's like straight OEM spec. Like you could almost just leave it alone because it looks so good the way it is. You know what I mean?
Very, very much part of the thought process. Our product team has such a great ear to the ground for product and kind of where trends are moving. So you're seeing things come through where, you know, this bike is coming stock with an EXO Plus or something like the bigger bikes.
I didn't even look at that, where it's got the right. I complained about that recently about bikes, is that like you get these Maxxis tires, but they're an OEM where it's a dual compound at EXO casing. And I know I'm nerding out a little bit on Maxxis right now, just bear with me, but like getting the right casing, the right compound, you know, tire on your bike, it's going to save you a couple $100 from upgrading those, or having to ride with subpar tires until they wear out and you finally upgrade them. So yeah,
the idea is that we want this bike to be as plug and play into your life as possible. So being able to get it with the spec that the end consumer would want. You know, I don't want to buy a bike and have to buy another couple $100 of gear. I want it to be ready to ride out the door. So, you know, that's really what we try and hit with, you know, baseline spec, as well as our customization options in-house are so vast that if you do have a pretty specific preference, you can really dial that bike in so it shows up at your door exactly how you want it.
All right, so good price point on all the brand new ARI bikes. Also, as I mentioned, on the Fezzari bikes back there, you can get those at an amazing price point. Like right now, while they're still out, if you don't mind having the older Fezzari logo on there, you can go in and go to the outlet at the RI.com.
RIBikes.com.
RIBikes.com. Go check out the outlet. You can get yourself a good deal on those right there. Throwing my riding gear on, because one of the things I want to talk about is they do, like I noticed on their website, they have this thing called a 23-point sizing, like a 23-point custom setup, and it was asking me for all sorts of measurements that, like, I have to be honest with you, I don't know my exact shoulder measurement or the inseam off the top of my head, but I know that getting your bike fit right is key. So we're going to walk through that real quick on this bike that I would love to have. How much does this one run for? Just for
this
for
build
giggles?
is the pro spec, so this would be about 8K. These start
8K.
at 6.
But this
go
has
6,
it's
7,
got the 1-up
Yep.
bar, stem combo, everything. Ergon grip. It comes with these ergon grips
Yes,
on
sir.
it.
Yep.
Dang, it comes really even with the ergon saddle. This is the saddle I run on my bike. So it's got pretty much, except for like pedals, which no bikes come with pedals. It's got everything you need like already.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
So the 23-point setup. Let's just run through it real quick. What are we looking at here?
Things that are going to change on the bike are going to be bar width, set dropper post travel length. So we'll change out, say, our inseam accommodates a 200 and it has a 170 as we've got it spec. That's going to change. Bars are going to be trimmed to what fits best for your shoulder width and arm length. And then things as simple as just getting suspension set up for your weight and getting a good starting point on that. It even gets as deep as in, say, some other bikes when we have opportunities to change out crank arm length and things like that for inseam adjustment. So it really means that that bike's going to come plug and play with, you know, the most optimized amount of dropper post travel, setup that fits you, you know, things like stem is going to be changed, and you know,
Oh, really? You even going to change the stem?
Yeah,
on there
yeah.
as well?
Say on a mountain setup where we have say a 35, 40, and a 50. You know, you're gonna see generally it'll trend larger bikes, XLs and larges. Gonna get a 50, but you know, within that we're using years of having a.
The work never stops here at Everstoke, so we're not going to ask them to stop the work for this video. Let's get this bike out on the trail and take it for a test ride. All right, let's start climbing. Got this bike out on the first demo of the day. Thanks to ARI Bikes for getting me set up there. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool, like their 23-point adjustment and the fact that they adjust things like even the stem length based on you being a taller or shorter rider, and just, you know, just getting that bike dialed in. All those little fine-tuned adjustments that you're not gonna have to worry. Basically, when your bike comes to you, you know, because they are a direct-to-consumer brand, so when you order your bike online and it shows up to you in the mail, it's gonna be ready for you to throw a leg over and take out pedaling. Right now, I can tell you, with this being a size extra large, and with the additional little settings I ran through right there with Ian, this bike is feeling good so far. We even adjusted the levers and stuff a little bit to get them set up just right for me. Got these new Maven brakes on here. So these are the newest brakes from SRAM. I haven't tried these things out yet. They're supposed to be super powerful, and I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with SRAM brakes in the past, so we'll see how these things perform on the way downhill. And climbing. See how this little motor, Fezarri motor, performs on the way uphill. Right now it's feeling pretty zippy. I forgot the name of the power modes that he told me.
Off, breeze, river, and rocket.
But I got it in that like second from the bottom power mode, that kind of like mid power mode, and it's zipping up these trails pretty easily. So man, lightweight e-bikes, it's the perfect amount of power to get you up the hill and still feels light on the way back down. And this build on this Nebo Peak, oh man, I freaking would take this bike home in a heartbeat if I could. I love that. They call it a copper, but I think it looks almost like, kind of reminds me of almost like a military kind of green. But they got like copper with, you know, the white, everything with the SRAM transmission drivetrain, you know, and the chrome on those Maven brakes, and the silver on that Lyric fork. It's just all really dialed in and just ready to shred. Woo! See, it's just a little bit off camber right there. Much better. Anybody want to do this skinny right here? I'll pass.
light enough bike that you can walk across it with it though. Do you have the numbers on this like memorized at all? It feels like this is a size XL.
Yes, sir.
It feels so playful.
It really
like
keeps,
so, is it got like shorter chain stays or something?
It's either like 435 or 437.
Yeah.
But it keeps a really short.
Do you know about the weight it should be? I know they always weight it like a size medium with no pedals, but like.
Oh no, this is XL is like 41.
41? Yeah. I thought it. Yeah, dude, it feels. Yeah. It's like.
That feels like my
dude,
bike.
it feels so playful.
So
I couldn't believe it. Like I'm always in between a large and an extra large, and sometimes the extra large feels a little boaty on the way downhill. This bike just like. Here's feeling great.
That tight rear end helps me get that feeling that I think a lot of people are reaching for with mullet setups.
Yeah.
Get that rear end feel tight and playful.
Yeah.
And just through kind of baking that into Geo, I can get so much of that like really fun, playful mix.
Yeah.
And, you know, you do sacrifice a bit of that like high-speed stability, but for this type of bike, I want to be working it and playing with it.
Yeah.
And doing it.
It's not a mullet, right?
No.
But I was feeling that. I was feeling exactly what you're talking about on the way downhill. Like I was feeling like it wanted me to just kind of whip it around corners. It's like, I need to get better at cornering apparently, because this bike wants me to like whip it around the corners, you know? I'm going to take it up on the jump line, but one other question I had when I was going up is what's the naming convention? Is there any rhyme or reason behind the names?
Yeah, everything is a location, ride, or usually peak in Utah.
So, they're Utah peaks.
Peak.
I bet you somebody
Peak.
else already knew that, just not me.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's for Timpanogos Peak. That's right
Timpanogos
behind us, and
Peak.
That's actually where we do.
So there's a
most of the
Nebo
testing for this.
a Nebo Peak.
There is a Nebo Peak.
Nebo, yeah, that's right. Nebo
Delano,
Peak.
and the
Delano Peak.
LaSalle is a fun
LaSalle.
one because
So I thought that was pretty cool right there, how they name their bikes. I mean, the bike was riding so good, but that's not where this day ended, you guys, because shortly after taking that bike for a ride, I had Robert from the Biker Bar podcast show up. I had Aaron from MTB and Adventures there, Brian BKXC. We had Seabass, normal mountain biker. So a bunch of famous YouTubers started showing up there at Everstoke, and they took me out to an amazing local trail.
All right, we're stacked inside the truck. We're going where, Robert? Mills Peak? Yep. Mills Peak.
Now, Mills Peak is not the name of one of the ARI bikes, although it probably should be, because this ride was absolutely amazing. And this trail is gonna go down as one of the best trails I've rode all year. So definitely check that video out right there. But while you're thinking about that video, subscribe to the damn channel already. I mean, you've made it this far, so you obviously enjoy the content I'm putting out. I'm just a fellow rider like you, trying my best to make these videos, because it's all about getting you guys stoked to go ride and have some fun, people.